We'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for young men. And we'll see what specific things we go over today. One of the things that I wanted to go over is consistency and discipline and consistency for young men. Based on the personalities, different every young man is going to have discipline in certain areas, and every young man is going to lack discipline in certain areas. So, the type of young man, the type of personality I have, and so I'm going to be I'm a analytic driver. And so, because I made the decision when I was 15 never to touch alcohol or drugs or smoking or even coffee, um, people will think, Mark's disciplined because of because I'm really driven on task and goals and these type of things. And so people will perceive that I'm disciplined. But where does the driver analytic lack discipline? It's often in how they interact with people. They can be harsh, they can be pushy, they can be impatient, they can be a whole bunch of things. And so the expressive and amiable personality, they will lack discipline in getting the task done. And so it's almost I have kind of an advantage, in the world as a man over other men, as it relates to my economic engine. Because the economic engine in business now, if you're in government, if you're in churches, if you're in anything big, tends to go ahead and protect, like big government, big education, big religion, big media, big medical, big labor, anything big will tend to go ahead and protect the people in it. This does not work out good for the big because eventually that that will, corrode them, that will blow them up. And so how do you go ahead and transfer that discipline to, to others? And so other young men. So one is, Secret of Time, the 30-day challenge. And so for a young man to do something consistently for 30 days is not easy, especially if they don't see the value of it. So if they don't see the immediate value of it, they don't see the benefit of it. And so, but there's ways that certification, and if you go through the 30-day challenge, there's different levels. And so there's phases, there's 3 phases. And so, phase one is, you manage up and out to 3 or more people. Phase two is go through the 10 videos, 11 to day 20, and you do 12 or more people and get 2 other people to join. And then phase three, you go ahead and go through the 10 videos again and at 24 plus or more people, and you get 2 buddies to get their 2 buddies to attend. This is not really brain surgery. It's not really rocket science. Not really that hard, but nobody's been successful in doing it, in getting the gold, the gold certification. Not one person has ever done this. And so here's the bronze. You complete the 30-day challenge in 30 days. So you can just go through it and it takes you more than 30 days. So you miss a few days and you can still get your certification. Like Elena here, she's 3 years old. So she made it through, which is really interesting. And so obviously her mother had a lot to do with that. And so she and her sister went through, who's 4 years old, and they would manage up and out. And she would be, that's two of my granddaughters. And they would go ahead and say, Mommy, I'm so tired. I don't know. Grandpa, I can't. Like, I'm so tired. And so it was cute, but hard to go through. There's a white paper library, so there's a white paper library that people can go through. And so Alan Stein with Tanglewood, he once asked, Mark, how do I go ahead? What was it? Something about how do I think like you do? How do I think as fast as you do? And I said, well, go through the videos. And so there's on I don't let's see, what is it? DNA for success, no, DNA for life dash laws. So there's videos here. Um, there's videos here, there's a video library, and there's literally over 500 natural laws that have been discovered. And I said, go through these. And he did. And so there's the white paper library, and not all of them, but here you have, what's in it for me, the concept of selfless selfishness. So what this white paper is designed to do is to help people not be self-righteous. So some of the young men who go to church and look like on this outside they're really good, they're not. They're evil. They're bad. They harm. And then the next white paper, and there's a podcast that goes with each of these two: consistent and committed, and drive and discipline, and clear communications, and success through self-vaporization, and best students in the world. And then there's another thing that you can go through, and so there's um, videos and books, or movies and books that I've found that were very instrumental for me. So another, like Norman Miller, Jason's brother, he sent me a video on addictions, and it was very profound. He said that the reason this video postdates, shares that the reason people get addicted is because they don't have relationships, which is just really interesting. And so, Mary, what would you like to accomplish today?
Mm, I'm not 100% sure.
Merle, what would you like to accomplish today?
Depending on the day, like how today goes, um, I want to accomplish a good impression on the job fair that we have today.
Okay. Are you looking for a job?
No, not really. I mean, I have a job for the summer. It's the job fair. We're having it to just like look at our options and kind of practice interviewing,
Okay.
like practice getting interviewed. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So would you like to know probably the best question you can ever ask in a job interview?
What is it?
You go ahead and say, so I'm just curious, like, who would you say has been the most productive, profitable employee you've ever had? You think they've been that way?
Okay.
Another great question. So when you look at the 530 grid, when you look at the 530 grid, it's not just about, it's not just about business. It'll help you um in selling yourself in a job, any job. So the thing that people make mistakes in job interviews is what they do is they talk a lot about themselves rather than asking questions. So in the 530 grid, what we learn here is you go ahead and in sales, because that's what you're doing, you're selling yourself. And so you ask key questions and then you present a solution. The interviewer, you can ask them, you can say, it seems like you've been successful in this company. What would you say the three things that have helped to create the most success for you? So you get hired not because of what you say about yourself, not because of what you say about yourself, not about even your past experience. It's going to be based on largely on the questions you ask. So my kids, by and large, they've always gotten the jobs that they've interviewed for because they learn how to ask questions. And the questions are the things that absolutely, like they're like, I've never heard anybody ask that question before, like ever. And so, does that make sense, Merle?
Yeah.
How sensitive a guy do you think you are?
Not that sensitive.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I okay with you being not that sensitive?
I'm not sure.
What do you think?
Probably a little bit of both.
Okay. I would have to say, yeah, mostly, maybe all. I'm not, yeah, I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with you not being sensitive. You know why?
No.
Does anybody know why?
It won't work out so well for him.
Does that make sense, Merle?
Kinda.
Yeah. See, I care about you, so I'm not okay with I'm not okay with it. If I didn't care about you, well, then I'd be like, I don't care. Like, do whatever you want to do. Don't be sensitive. It was interesting with Luke. One of the first times we met at Coffee Connection years ago, he went ahead and said something about women. He's like, yeah, I'm not sensitive to women. I used to be, but I'm not anymore. And I'm like, you're 18 years old, for crying out loud. How can you go? Like, you shouldn't be jaded now. Like, my gracious. Wow. So I think, Luke doesn't think he's been hurt at a heart level, but I wonder if his mom and sisters have hurt him at a heart level. My mom hurt me uh, once when I was probably about 12 years old. Well, no, twice. Once when I was 9, too. She, she responded to me in a way that, you know, and so yeah, it's not going to work out well for you, Merle. You're not going to have a happy life. You're not going to get an amazing wife. You're not going to have an amazing marriage. You're not going to have an amazing career. You're just not. If you're not sensitive, you're just not. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, what's kind of counterintuitive in growing men is how do I help you to become sensitive? Anybody know?
I don't know.
It's fairly simple. This is how you create. This is how you help.
Empathy, maybe.
What's that?
Maybe empathy.
Doesn't seem to work because men aren't sensitive. They don't even see it. See, it's the opposite. You beat the living emotional crap out of a man. Like all three of my boys hit my wife once when they were 3, 2 or 3. That's all it took is once. I'm telling you, they never did it again. I mean, it's burned and bred into it. I remember my youngest son, we had a rule that you can't leave the house if you're angry. And once he comes up to me, 16 years old, I told his 4 older sisters, I told his mom, there are 5 women, and I said, ladies, you guys are creating a monster. Did they listen to me? They did not. And they created a monster. When he was 9 years old, all 5 of them came to me and said, you got to do something about him. I said, I do not. I warned you guys. I told you you're creating a monster. And I still did something about him, though. I mean, I still did. And so, Merle, what if you don't want, what if you don't want my help, do you want my help to help you be more sensitive or not?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What if you didn't?
What?
What if you didn't want? What if you
I would
didn't?
tell you.
No. Well, let's say you tell
Or
me I don't want
Mhm.
your help anymore. Would I still help you? Would I still care about your lack of sensitivity?
Yes,
I think so. Why?
because you care about me.
Right. I care about you more than I care about your relationship with me, which is unusual. If you ever get a friend that cares more about you than about their relationship with you, don't ever let go of that friend because that's an unusual friend. There's almost nobody out there. Everybody cares more about the relationship. This is why you can't trust your friends, to be honest with you. I mean, it's sad, but it's true. It just is.
Mm-hmm.
They care more about the relationship than they do about you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, anybody know what I'm going to ask Merle? So you guys are not the most sensitive people on the planet either. So we
Is
can.
it what you should do if he stops listening to you or stops
No,
being
did he read the email that I sent him? Merle, did you read the email I sent you?
No,
Really? Am I shocked and surprised?
no.
No, I'm not. You're pathetic. You're a little boy. You shouldn't be. Hopefully you're not dating. Like, girl, I know a girl. You're not ready for a girl. Trust me, you're not ready for a girl. You're just not. If you can't read my email, Luke, what is wrong with you, buddy?
right?
I mean, did you think I was going to forget?
Mm,
And it just
no,
shows that you are a pathetic leader. You can't even get Merle to go ahead and read an email. This really ticks me off to both of you guys. Like, my gracious. So there's going to be defining moments in your life that could be defining, but most young men, they don't, they just whip by these signs. They just go right through them. Like Jason and Melissa when they were married and we were over in Hawaii and Jason's going out and we're going on the beach and way down from nobody else. Nobody's out this beach. And there's all these signs, these warning signs, like there's these warning signs. And I'm like, Melissa, why are you going out there? Well, my husband's out there. Yeah, but what about all these signs? Oh, you don't have to worry about the signs, Dad. They've been up all week. Maybe because it's dangerous all week. There's nobody swimming down here. But I'm like, hey, you know, she's an adult, right? Just let her be, and her husband's going to protect her, right? I mean, he's not going to allow his wife to go ahead and be harmed. So she goes out there and she's on one of those boogie boards 15 feet in the air. A wave picks her up 15 feet in the air and then slams her down right down in. Like I saw my adult daughter's body crumple like a tin foil. I mean, she just mangled laying there. Like, and this was not the first time that this type of thing had happened. And so, she's a little spicy one. So, all the responsibility is not on Jason. Like, protect your wife for crying out loud, buddy. Like, get control of her. Help. If she can't control herself, then you need to help control her. I mean, that's a loving thing to do. And so, Luke, is it wrong for me to expect you and Merle to go ahead and, for you and Merle to go ahead and read that and reply to me?
I
No,
wouldn't
I
say
don't
that's
think
wrong.
so.
Merle, what were you thinking?
I wouldn't say that's wrong.
Okay. So, like, do you think you can work for somebody else, Merle?
Yeah.
See, I don't think I can. See, I'd rather die in the jungle than live in the zoo. I'm not saying that's right for everybody. It's not. Most people honestly have to go ahead. Most people honestly have to work for somebody else. They don't have the disciplines to work for themselves. They just don't. And it's okay. But in sixth grade, Ben's my son who's 26, he was in sixth grade. I walked in for a teachers conference and there was a sign on the door and it said, "You will either pursue your dreams and goals or you'll help somebody else pursue their dreams and goals." And Kenny and Luke and the company that they have, they're putting in systems and structure to where all their team members, it's like, they're entrepreneurs. They're entrepreneurs inside a company. Like, you don't want any of your employees thinking like employees. You just don't. You just don't. And you don't ever want to think like an employee. You just don't. You just don't. Because employees are slaves by and large. They're enslaved. And the employer is enslaved to the slaves. It's not a good model. Kenny, what would you like to accomplish today? While you're thinking,
Yeah.
Lamar, what would you like to accomplish today?
Oh, just getting a bunch of office work done.
What would you like to accomplish on this call today, on this podcast?
Maybe get a little bit of information that might help me lead.
So here's information that will help you, Lamar. And I know what you're going to be thinking. You're going to be like, dang, how does he know this? Like, right, the guy's a freaking genius. Like, I won't argue with you. I think I'm an idiot. I mean, I can't even get Luke to go ahead and get Merle to read one email. Like, what kind of a leader am I? Like, I am not a good leader of leaders for sure. So, anyways, but this is pretty genius. So, what I found, Lamar, is in my early 20s, as as we're thinking about having a family, like I wanted to get, married at 8 years old. I was looking forward to getting married at 8 years old. I'm like, this would be the coolest thing in the world to, have a wife. My wife was like, really? I'm like, yeah, thinking about you at 8. And, and so like, I don't know, but then I started studying kids and having kids and all this kind of stuff. And so one of the things that I observed about parenting is your kids will typically have your weaknesses. And they won't only have your weaknesses, but they won't have your strengths that mitigate the weaknesses, that overcome the weaknesses. So me as a driver personality, let's get that up here. So I'm a pyramid. So me as this, I'm pretty direct. Some of my kids are really direct too. Like the challenge is they don't have the work ethic their father does. They don't take the risk. They don't go ahead. They don't go ahead. They don't care. They don't, by and large, they don't have. So if you are really direct with people, I'll beat the emotional crap out of somebody. Like I care enough about Merle where I'll put the relationship on the line. Like this is why people have such a deep connection to me. I mean, not everybody. Some people really don't like me. And it's okay because, I'm not real fond of them either. And so what I learned is that as a dad, I've got to strive to be flawless. I've got to expect, like you'll never hear a Navy SEAL say, well, nobody's perfect. Never. I mean, when people say I'm not perfect, it drives me crazy. It's just like, why are you saying that? That makes no sense. Did you think I think you were perfect? I don't think you're perfect. So I don't like when people go ahead and say, I'm not perfect. So there's this model out here. It's called flawless thinking. And so flawless thinking is not perfect thinking. It's flawless. It's less flawed. It's being less flawed today than yesterday. So what's going to happen, Lamar, is the people you lead in your company, they're going to pick up all of your weaknesses. What's one of the weaknesses that I've seen, in you, Lamar?
Oh my. I'm not sure.
Really? Huh. Interesting. Anybody see any weaknesses in Lamar?
He's late.
He's late.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But that's not his real weakness. The real weakness is that he has a good reason. I am so glad he didn't share the reason. So if somebody shares a reason with me, it's just, now if you're a woman, I just think, well, that's just part of being a woman. There's a reason. And so I give women a lot more room than men. Men, I don't give any room. It's just like, you know what? But I have a reason. We all have reasons. And so a leader, they're going to pick up all your flaws and they're not going to have your strengths that you have. They're going to be more flawed. And then they have their own flaws. Like, how does the human race even, I mean, this is what with my kids, it's the strangest thing. They have my flaws without my weaknesses and my wife's flaws without her strengths. So my flaws without my strengths, her flaws, like they're super messed up kids. Really?
Is that where progressive degeneration comes from?
I think it's a part of it, yeah. So progressional degeneration is every generation digresses and gets worse and weaker until they self-implode. Yep. So Lamar, you want to have a standard for yourself that's inhuman. It's like I tracked all my mistakes for a full year, every one of them. And I had my wife and my kids and I had Elise going through. And whenever I'd make a mistake, they'd write it down. Questions, Lamar?
Yeah, really, that's kind of interesting.
What's interesting about it?
Writing down your mistakes.
Why is that interesting?
Beneficial.
Right? I did it for a whole year. I know you don't want to make me look bad. It's okay. How many mistakes did you make? I made 7. just, I don't even know why you guys listen to me. Like, that's more than one every other month. Do you know what 3 of those mistakes were? 3 out of the 7 mistakes were being late. Once I was 16 seconds late. I think another time I was 93 seconds late. And so for me, it's just not late. You just, like, there's something, I'm sure my wife is always late. But again, she's a woman, so it's okay. There's a reason for it. And so, but with me, it's just, you can't be late. Like, your yay is yay, your nay, nay. It's not yay with an explanation or nay with an explanation. It's yay, yay, nay, nay. And you just aren't late because that's inconsiderate of other people. What about when you have kids and other types of things? Well, that makes it more challenging. It's one of the reasons why there's more grace or understanding, because my wife, she had 7 kids, but even before she had 7 kids, she was late. And what's interesting is she's not late to pickleball, which is really interesting. And she's not late to doing her garden. So there are things that she can be on time for, which is really fascinating. So Lamar, what you want to do is have a standard that's so high, and you have to, because your kids and the people you lead in your company, they will pick up your weakness and they will magnify it.
Yeah. Okay.
And so if you come up with a reason why you're late, why you get angry, why you go ahead and yell, why you go ahead and don't care, why you don't follow through with something you say you're going to do. If you come up with a reason, they're not listening to the reason. They're listening, oh, dad, or, the boss or the owner of the company, he has a reason for why he doesn't do something. So that what they're doing is we're training them to come up with reasons.
Yeah.
And trust me, their reasons, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So I wish we had more time today. Like, I don't know, is this going to change your life forever? It can if you want it to. Like, if you want it to, it can. And so for me, I want every moment of every day to be a potential life-changing moment. Something that will change my life forever, where I will see things I've never seen before. Because when I see things I've never seen before, it gives me the ability to think in ways I've never thought before. So yesterday, Elaine and I went ahead and met with Fritz Slayball with Rock Run. And that was interesting. We should get him on this podcast. Like, he's an interesting guy. How he thinks. Like when the three Amish teens died in Roomspringer, asphyxiation in the car, and when they died, and I think he went through some of the viewings, and he said, "This didn't have to happen." I've never met anybody, because that's what I thought. I didn't know him. I'm like, this didn't have to happen. I'm like, wow, he thinks like me. Like, I got to get together. We got to figure out how to make sure this never happens again. I mean, his insights are just, and that's what happens when you get like people together. You get people together and you start talking about it and start saying, okay, well, what have you found? What are things we're facing? So if you have any questions on anything we cover today, connect with the individual who invited you to participate in today's session. Don't talk care, do care. What's the difference? Talk is I care for you. I'm saying I care for you. Do care is when you actually do something, like share this podcast with 2 other people. Like it's interesting. It wouldn't be surprising to me at all if Lamar, has, this podcast and shares it with all his team members. What's weird is that most leaders won't do that. Why? Because they want to look. Trust me, your kids, they see your weaknesses. They just do. Trust me, your employees, they see your weaknesses. So his employees would actually think more of him if he shared this with all of them, you know, and they'd say, wow, I really admire Mar because, I mean, he shared this. And so this is iron sharpening iron. This is all of us learning who to become who we were created to be. Again, if you have any questions, connect with the individual who invited you to participate in today's session, or you can call toll free 888-230-2300, outside the U.S. 630-393-9909. And always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.